But right now, Bernie Sanders is 11 points up. And this speaks to two things that Bernie Sanders, one that he mentioned and one I want to bring up. There's a direct correlation. The bigger the turnout, the better Bernie Sanders does. The lower the turnout, the better Hillary Clinton does. And that should speak volumes as to who is really, one, gives the momentum and the energy, but then two, just best for democracy. Because at what point do we look for and hope for a lower turnout so that our candidate can win? What do you think, Nick?
I mean, I really do believe that Bernie Sanders represents a great opportunity for us to change the way politics is done, because you see this rush to get into all these undemocratic processes and all that, because they know, that dissent is rising and they can no longer keep it exactly the way it is. These trade deals, once you're in a trade deal, it's really hard to get out. That's why all of a sudden there's a rush to get into these trade deals as, democracies all over the world, they're beginning to reject neoliberalism, as a whole. Now, what I will say about neoliberalism is I feel like the talking points and like the rosy picture that neoliberalism portrays, it's almost seductive.
Yeah.
I mean, not to get into like religious, anything like that, but evil is kind of seductive, and it almost has that quality to it. It's not going to show you some nasty hulking monster or something like that. It's going to look like the best thing since sliced bread. It's going to be hard to resist it.
What it's not going to show you is the child labor overseas, right? It's not going to show you. It's not going to show you the person that's making 65 cents on the per hour or per day or per week in some nations, in exchange for taking your labor away from Detroit. It's not going to show you all those things. What it is going to show you is the great success that financial markets has brought, right? It's going to show you the Silicon Valley. It's going to show you the not the Rust Belt. I'm thinking there's a name for it here in Boston, but it's not going to show you. It's not going to show you the negative effects. It's always going to promote the positive effects. And if you're not sober in this conversation, you'll miss it. And you have to give Bernie Sanders credit. Bernie Sanders, even before the ravaging of the industry across America, Bernie Sanders was consistent on this message, and it speaks to his foresight, even on the Panama Papers, right? His prediction that this was going to come down the line. Now, people want to make Bernie Sanders seem as though he is some type of lightweight, but at what point did you look back and say this brother was right on so many important issues, while everyone else was getting it wrong? Nick, I'm going to give you the last word, and then we're out of here.
Okay. I remember when there was a debate about foreign policy, and they asked Bernie Sanders what the number one threat to national security was, and he said climate change. And, they say, okay, well, what country poses a great threat to world peace and yada, yada? And he gave the answer, North Korea. And everybody made fun of him for that. They all said, no, the answer was Russia and blah, 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 blah. They went to their little bubble speak, right? But right after he said that, 2 or 3 weeks later, North Korea starts shooting missiles everywhere, starts taking a more aggressive tone. And it's just like each time Bernie Sanders on issue after issue, he seems to almost be a visionary. One person said he was a prophet. And I was like, well, no. We're not going to go there with the word prophet. But what I will say is he actually has the vision to see down the road, make the correct decision.
Yeah.
And then time after time again, his vision has been proven to be correct. He's been on the right side time and time again, and people don't give him credit for it. And what I will say is Alexander the Great, everybody thought he was crazy when he said he wanted to go this way.
Are you comparing Bernie Sanders to Alexander the Great?
What I'm saying is every great person throughout our history, they all became great by breaking with the orthodoxy. If you believe that you can be great by staying inside the orthodoxy, you are dead wrong. Everybody was against them until they did something so great. And they were like, oh my God, I couldn't believe he did this. He's visionary. He's great. This is why this person's name will be remembered. Bernie Sanders is showing that in the political realm.
You know what? I love about what you just said, and I know I said I was going to give the last word, but I have two quick things. One is Bernie Sanders' lead is up by 12 points. So we're going to sign off with him being up by 12 points. And my hope and expectation is that he either maintains that 12-point thrashing or he expands it even further. But back to your last point, Nick, and we're going to get out of here. You cannot do something great within the orthodoxy. I have to co-sign with that, because if you expect to get anything, if you expect the status quo, if you expect the current power structure to give you enough access to do something successful within their framework, then you have lost your mind. They will never give you enough space to get on their stage, on their platform, in their orthodoxy, in their paradigm that they are successful in. They will never give you enough room to get out there and express yourself and become something great in their paradigm as a free moral agent. They'll put you up, they'll prop you up as an agent of their bidding, right? Of their will. If you want to be an independent person, you have to break with orthodoxy. You have to break away from the paradigm. You cannot sit around and wait for somebody to give you permission to be great. I think that's about as much inspirational speech that you will ever get here on the Benjamin Dixon Show. Nick, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you, man. How can people get up with you?
You can catch me at SlickNickX on Twitter. I mean, I debate everybody. I'm a member of the Progressive Army group and Facebook as well. I'll be, open. I'm trying to get more conservatives to get in there so we can start taking that apart. If there's any libertarians out there, I would love to debate you on libertarianism.
Yep. Okay. Send them your way. Send them our way. This has been the Benjamin Dixon Show. Thanks so much, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog, join the Progressive Army, and support the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Crazy mother.
If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Consider becoming a Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show.